Hello and welcome to episode 12 of My Cancer Diary. It's nice to get out in the fresh air. So I've been logging my process as I go through my cancer treatment, and I suppose I've not been sugarcoating it, but I suppose I've been quite positive about the way things are going. It's sort of like a linear trajectory towards recovery. But the last week has been different. The last week has been really, really tough. So, last week I went to the plastics dressing clinic at Leeds General Infirmary. That was Tuesday. And I went to have my dressings checked over and also to do a bit of physio because I need to get my left arm moving properly again. There's a danger of frozen shoulder and that kind of thing. So it was all really positive. I mean, the nurse who dealt with my dressings had a look and said, the wound had come apart a little bit at the very top. That's the wound, well, at the apex of my armpit. And so it needed a bit, but apart from that they could take all the dressings off and just put one bit on that addressed that particular part of the wound. I then I saw the consultant surgeon and I mentioned to him the fact that I've got some numbness in the outside part of my upper arm, just above the elbow, and his response to that was, well, I'm afraid that might be permanent. We were bound to have hit some nerves while we were in there. So okay, I can live with that. It's not the end of the world, hopefully. But then I had to do some physio, because I said, try and get this arm working. And to be honest with you, the physio was really hard. I mean, I wasn't doing anything that intense, but actually, at the time of doing it, the physio was okay. I mean, it stretched me a bit, and at the margins of what I was doing, there was a little bit of pain. But later on that day, just everything around my site, my operation, just started throbbing. And it probably was for a good couple of days. It just knocked me out. I could do very little because it was intense pain around the operation site. And then, trying to think what day we're talking about. It might have been Wednesday. No, Wednesday was the day. It was probably Thursday. Anyway, one day I woke up with an intense pain in my upper thigh. Now, I'm fully aware of the possibility that because of me being immobile in hospital and somewhat afterwards, there's always the possibility of deep vein thrombosis. So I thought I'll see if this settles down, but it wasn't settling down. In fact, the pain was getting worse and it was getting almost unbearable at times. So I thought I rang the GP, and he said, well, we need to get you checked out, get you a blood test done, and hopefully a ultrasound scan. And I'll tell you one thing about the way the NHS is working at the moment is I rang the hospital to get you now have to get an appointment. You now have to get an appointment for a blood test. You used to just turn up, and I rang the hospital. This is obviously all due to coronavirus, so I rang the hospital to get an appointment for a blood test and was told there was nothing for 3 weeks. So I then rang the GP back, and the receptionist said, okay, well, the practice nurse can do it here, but you'll have to take it up. This was sort of like 6 o'clock in the evening, and you'll have to take it up to the hospital because they don't keep overnight. So I went to the practice nurse, got the blood test done, took it up to the hospital, and then the following day I'm going to get a phone call saying, can you come up to the hospital so we can have a look at what's what. By that time, that morning, again, I'm a bit sketchy about what day we're talking about here, but that morning I woke up with another pain, a really intense pain in my right side, sort of around my rib area. So I got up to the hospital and told them, actually the thigh is not that painful because I've been taking ibuprofen and that seems to be dealing with the pain in my thigh, but I've now got this thing in my side, which is really painful. They had a look at it and they thought it was a pulled muscle. They couldn't see any damage apart from it was probably because I had been sneezing a bit with hay fever. So what I think had happened is I'd pulled a muscle around my rib area, but that ended up being a lot more painful than anything else. So anyway, it took me 2 days to get an ultrasound scan. I had the ultrasound scan on Friday morning, and that gave me the all clear. There's no clot, which is a relief. I have still got pain in that thigh on and off, and it sort of wears off when I'm due to take another ibuprofen. But I think that one's about manageable. But the big one was this pain in my rib area, which just got absolutely out of hand on Friday. Well, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was in massive amount of pain and I couldn't move. And I just had to take some of my painkillers, go back to the painkillers and the cancer I was taking for cancer, because it was just, I couldn't move without it. And I was in a position where I was in so much pain and couldn't move to do anything about it. So very grateful to my wife for helping me out for that, because I don't know what I would have done without her. But so anyway, that was Friday night, Saturday morning. Incredible amount of pain. It's gradual. That pain's gradually worn off now to the fact now where, providing I don't move jerkily or lift anything heavy, then it's more sort of background pain in that area. But it was quite concerning for a while that I've suddenly got this pain on the other side of my body to the operation pain, and the whole thing meant I was pretty immobile. But as you can see, I'm outside now, so I've sort of got to a position where I'm feeling just about well enough to come out, and just checking on where the dogs are. But really, so what I'm saying is, recovery is not a linear process, and just when you think you've got things beaten, something comes and bites you. So the combination of the reaction to my physiotherapy, the pain in my thigh, and then the pain in my rib area, have really knocked me out this week, and I've not been able to do very much at all. But anyway, so I don't want to sugarcoat this process. I'm still very optimistic that I'm going to get a positive outcome from the cancer treatment, but it does mean that sometimes something else comes along to waylay you. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you're well. Keep yourself safe. I'll see you soon.